Ready? So are you, is your self-centered thought ready to get smashed again this morning? Yeah, we're getting into the juicy part of the chapter. Yeah, where when we talked a long time about equalizing self and others, okay? And now we're going to get into the faults of the self-centered mind. So if you ever thought that it was your best friend, that view is going to be smashed. So get ready and build your defenses. No, my self-centered mind is good. It helps protect me. It makes me know that I am I and I'm here and I can't control the world, but by the end of my life, I will be able to. Or that's why I want to become a Buddha. Then I can, then I can control everybody. Yeah. So, yeah. So, our refuge in our self-centered thought is going to get challenged a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so let's start out with taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Remembering where our refuge really is. And then all the sentient beings around us. So as Geshe Topke mentioned a few days ago, these are the two fields that are most important for our spiritual progress. The refuge field, the field of wisdom that will guide us, and the field of compassion of sentient beings. Let's cultivate our motivation. So imagine that Shantideva is your roommate. And he also shares the same office you do. So Shantideva sees everything you do and comments on it. Not to criticize you, but out of compassion. But check what your feeling is, what your response is. Are you being really transparent and admitting to yourself and to Shantideva how you do things, how you think? Or is your behavior completely guided by, I want to look good. I don't want to get criticized. So you do things that look good, but not so much because you care about other people, but because you don't want to get criticized. Now, can you pull that one off in front of Shantideva? I don't know about you, but if I can see through my garbage. Surely Shantideva can too, and will call out my mistaken motivations. But can I hear it when he does that, or do I clam up tight, and defend myself and take on more and more this thing of, I've got to be good, I don't want to get criticized. And where does that mind get you? The mind that wants to look good, but not really because they care about other people. So imagine that you care about others. You care about your roommate, you care about your office mates, you care about other sentient beings. What would it feel like to do things out of genuine affection and care, not out of fear, not out of wanting to look good? What would the difference in how you feel in your mind about others and about yourself, what would that be like? Imagine that. And then imagine just during your whole day having, what does it feel like to have that mind that really cares about others, that cherishes them? Not just wanting them to have sense pleasure in this life and be comfortable in this life, but a mind that cares about the fact that they're going round and around in samsara until now endlessly. So then in order to really help them, we have to go beyond our own self-centeredness. And we need the wisdom realizing reality as well. And skillful means. And so make a determination to develop those. And since that is the path to Buddhahood, then you have the motivation to attain Buddhahood for the benefit of others. So that's bodhicitta. So what was your feeling? Was it easy or hard to imagine having Shantideva as your roommate and office mate, and to be transparent and to really, figure out how to change your mind so you really care about others? Because Shantideva can see right through, that thing. And I think in some ways we're so well trained to do things because we want to look good, because we don't want to get in trouble. Yeah. And that motivation just comes up all the time. It's not really to care about others. It's, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want somebody to criticize me. I want to look good so I can get ahead. I didn't remember much from my college education, although I'm glad I had it and I know that it benefited me. But one thing I do remember was from English Lit. There's a T.S. Eliot quote. I can't remember much of anything else, but this quote really struck me. This was long before I met Buddhism. And it's, the last temptation is the greatest treason, to do the right thing for the wrong reason. And that quote just grabbed me. It's like, yeah, acting with a corrupt motivation to do something that looks good, you're doing the right thing, but the wrong reason. And how treasonous that is to our own ideals, our own values. Yeah, we're going very much against them, but we so often can't even see it. And when Shantideva, can you imagine Shantideva pointing that out to you all day long? Oh my goodness. And you go, give me a break. Can't I do anything right? But he's not trying to smash you and humiliate you and embarrass you. He's trying to bring something to our awareness so that we can change in a good way. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's a question here. Arhats have abandoned self-grasping, but have subtle self-centeredness. How do arhats overcome coarse self-centeredness, given that practicing the methods to cultivate bodhicitta, are the way to demolish the self-centered attitude? There's different levels of self-centeredness. And so one level, as I see it, is the level that is attached to the 8 worldly concerns. Yeah. And that's kind of an attachment to self. We want pleasure for the self. We want to avoid pain for the self. And that's a very coarse kind of self-centeredness. Can you imagine that? That's the coarse one. Yeah. Yeah. But the subtle one is wanting to attain awakening for ourselves alone, not caring about others. That's the subtle one. The self-centeredness that says, I'm happy becoming an arhat, and good luck, everybody else. I wish you well. Ciao. I'm going into nirvana. Bye-bye. Yeah, I'll write you a postcard telling you how great it is, but I'm not going to send you a ticket. Yeah? So how do we Yeah, when we say cultivating bodhicitta is the way to demolish the self-centered thought, I think bodhicitta works both against the coarse and the subtle kind of self-centeredness, but it's really aimed towards the subtle one. Yeah. The coarse one, the eight-worldly concerns, is something all Buddhist practitioners are working against, and we can't ignore that one and say, oh, I'm working on the subtle self-centeredness. I want to become a Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, but, first I have to have my banana split and, and get ahead in the world and da-da-da-da-da. Okay. Okay, that answer person who I'm, yeah. Okay. Because, you can see that bodhicitta does help with the core self-centeredness, because just as you're about to dig into your banana split that you paid, I don't know how much money for, you start thinking of people who don't have much food and that same amount of money could be used in another way. And besides, you already weigh 400 pounds, so you don't really need the banana split. So you do what that one, you know the story about the monk who, when they were passing out yogurt, yeah, I told you that story. Yeah, that, during pujas, they give out the offerings to everybody. So they were giving, and they serve meals very often. So they were giving out yogurt, and one monk was sitting in the back, and he was watching everybody else get yogurt and wondering if there was going to be enough for him. And when they finally got to him and they were going to put the yogurt in his bowl, he said, oh, well, thank you, I've already eaten a lot. And that's because every time the yogurt got put in everybody else's bowl, he imagined eating it. Yeah. So, so you can imagine eating banana splits. See how many you can imagine without getting a stomach ache. That really rich fudge. Yeah. Yeah. I think even just imagining eating that many, after a while, you'd feel kind of crummy, don't you think? Try it. Let me know. So I'm going to review the last verse that we stopped on, 111. Okay, so although the basis is quite impersonal, through constant familiarity, I have come to regard the drops of sperm and blood of others as I. Okay, so what's the basis? It's the drops of sperm and egg of other people, our parents. Okay, and so we got those, and then through familiarity with that and all the food that we've eaten, we developed the notion of I on the basis of that. But everything that the body is composed of, the sperm, the egg, all the food, everything that the body is composed of was given to us by others. Yeah. So if you look at it, there's nothing really personal about our body. There's nothing mine about this body. It sure feels like there is. My body, my dearest possession, because this is the last thing we give up in our life. Okay, you get rid of your bank account, your car and everything, but my body, that's me, or that's my, that possession proves I exist. So I'm clinging on to it. And Shantideva says, actually, it doesn't belong to you. Yeah. Sperm, egg, lots of food. We didn't give all that to ourselves. It all came from others. And after we die, we can't take the body with us. Yeah, the worms have a really good meal. That's why I don't want my body put in a, what? Well, no, the coffin, I don't know how long it takes a coffin to decay. If you have a very simple one, it might. But there's something now, yeah, like a vault or something like that. Because I know when my mom died, we went and we wanted the coffin, and they said, no, in our cemetery, you have to have some other bigger box that you put the coffin in, to put it in the ground. Yeah, it's very expensive to die in America. Yeah, really. It costs at least $10,000, and yeah, 20,000. Depends what kind of coffin you get. Yeah, my mom just had plain one, but if you get a fancy mahogany one with really fancy handles and everything, and silk on the inside and satin on the inside, and they cost, okay? Anyway, the worms are going to eat it, and I don't want it stuck in some kind of concrete box. I mean, might as well make use of it and let somebody have lunch. Yeah. So the worms have lunch, and, why not? I mean, when we die, we have no use for this body. So why do we cling so much to it? Yeah. Yeah. And the answer is familiarity. But sometimes that answer doesn't satisfy us. Yes, familiarity, but it is mine and I feel its pain and pleasure. I feel its pain and pleasure. And then we create an I, that I that, is at the center of the universe that we bow down to and do everything it wants. Include stupid things, because often what that self-existent I want, what it energizes, what it spurs on is afflictions, and then we do stupid things. Right? Yeah. But see, everybody's saying, yes, I do stupid things. But if I were to look at you and say, you do stupid things, what? I don't do stupid things. Interesting, isn't it? You can say it about yourself, but I can't say the same thing. Yes, that's why Milarepa had his hand on his ear, just like you. Yes, I want to hear the praise. No, I don't think that's quite it. I don't think that's what Jetsun Mila's asking for. Okay. 112. So in the same way, why should I be unable to regard the body of others as I? If it's just a thing of familiarity, and this thing I regard as I, although there's nothing in it that came from me, then why can't I regard others' bodies as I? Hence, it is not difficult to see that my body is also that of others. So why can't I see others' bodies as I, and my body can be others' body? Why not? If it's just a thing of familiarity. Yeah. So can we train our mind to look at others' bodies as with the same care and concern that we have for this thing, and say, oh, somebody else, this person has a stomach ache, this person, is hungry, except that instead of saying this person, you say I, because you can see others' bodies as I, and you can see that you can see others' body as I, and you can see that your body doesn't belong to you. It belongs to others. Okay? And so if you have, compassion for others, then this body gets used to benefit other living beings who, in your mind, start out being less important than you. Then you meditate, they get as important as you. And then you go beyond that to they are more important than me. Now, how do you get that others are more important than me? Because that is totally the opposite of what we feel now, which is I am most important. Okay. So how do we get there? Well, what's the big stumbling block that we have to get beyond before we could cherish others more, as much as, or even more than we cherish ourselves? What's the biggest stumbling block? Yeah, it's the self-centered thought. Okay. So we have to look closely at the self-centered thought, because our self-centered thought, it's a big liar. Okay? Yeah. And, like some other people, is going to have to go testify in front of the grand jury. Yeah. No, I didn't do it. I am innocent. This is a witch hunt. My self-centered thought is wonderful. It really cares for everybody else beyond me. I have never done anything wrong. I am totally magnanimous. I work for the benefit of all sentient beings. This is a witch hunt. Why are you asking me to testify in front of the grand jury? Yeah, who's the head of the grand jury? Shantideva. Yeah. And you're not going to pull one over on Shantideva. Forget it. Yeah. So as much as we try and explain how our self-centered thought is necessary, how it's our friend, how there's no fault with it, Shantideva is going to sit there and go, oh, yeah. Okay. And then you're going to get indicted. Yeah. You fool, caring for yourself alone and not caring about others. What are you doing? Yeah. That's what we have to look at when we talk to our self-centered thought. Okay. So instead of seeing our self-centered thought as who we are, that the conventional I and the self-centered thought are totally union oneness, okay, there's me, the conventional I, yeah, that exists, and the self-centered thought that we put out here. Okay, there's that self-centered thought. And it whispers in our ear, I'll take care of you. Listen to me, and you'll get everything you want. And we go, ooh, that's my friend. It looks out for me. It's going to give me whatever I want. I like my self-centered thought. It's going to protect me. If anybody criticizes me, it's going to lash out at them. If I want to do something and it's inconvenient to somebody else, self-centered thought is going to support me and say, yeah, go do it. Don't care about the other person. Yeah? Do you see that in yourself? Do you see sometimes when you're trying to, when you're at the point of, am I going to, it's in small things, will I, there's going to be a swarm for something. Will I join in the swarm or will I be too busy doing something else? At that point, that little point of, well, maybe I should go. They need help. To, I don't feel like it. Yeah. So who whispers in your ear when you're at that point? It's the self-centered mind saying, you're tired. You joined the swarm 5 years ago. That's enough. That's enough. Yeah, you need to rest now. And then we salute ourselves. Oh, no, it goes down, right? Hello, my saluting teacher. Like this? Yeah, like that. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm getting better. Yeah. So, yeah, we salute our self-centered thought. Aye, aye, ma'am. And then we go do what we want. And, when somebody says, we were counting on you being there. Oh, I was terribly busy. Yeah, I'm very sorry, but you guys did such an excellent job. This is wonderful. Yeah, next time I'll join you. But you do such good work, you don't really need me anyway. Okay, so that self-centered thought, it knows how to scheme. Yeah, it knows how to scheme, and it schemes, and it does its best to pull the wool over everybody else's eyes. And sometimes, we can fool other people and look good in front of them, and they think we're marvelous. But the problem is we can't fool karma. There's no way to fool karma. We can rationalize and justify and deny all we want, and the law of karma says, okay, you did this is the result. Yeah? The law of karma is, what is it, the Lady Justice who's holding? What do they call her? It looks like she's blind here, but she's holding the scales. Yeah, do they call her Lady Justice? Or she has some name. You know what I'm talking about, though. Yeah, you see.
And I say justice is blind. It doesn't discern good or bad. It just takes the facts and deals with the truth.
Right. But it's drawn as a person with holding the scale, but she's blindfolded. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, there's a name for her. So, so karma is like that. There's you can't bribe karma. You can't talk your way out of karmic results by, pulling the wool over, karma's eyes. Yeah. So we can't fool karma. We can fool other living beings. And our self-centeredness does a very good job of that. Yeah. We can do wonderful jobs of deceiving other people. Let me give you, this is a kind of a wowie example. But when I lived in Singapore, I got to know one family, and they were both university professors, and their daughter was she was in law school, I think, or getting her PhD in something, and she fell in love with some guy who was an economist. And she brought him home to meet her parents, okay? And, was raving about how wonderful he was and everything. And so the father said, well, what do you think about John Kenneth Galbraith? He's a very famous economist. This guy, his daughter's boyfriend, had no clue who John Kenneth Galbraith was. He had put on this show of being a totally different person that she fell in love with and was about to marry. And he lied. I mean, that's a pretty big lie, isn't it? Yeah? So that's what our self-centered thought does. It tells these kinds of lies. Yeah? And then because it pleases our self-centeredness pleases our self-centeredness, so we believe the lies we tell ourselves. Yeah. But the point here is that the self-centeredness is not our big friend. It's our big enemy. Yeah. It's telling us to do the right thing for the wrong reason, or the wrong thing for the wrong reason, which is even worse. Yeah. And so, when you do, those of you who are doing the prison work, you really see this when people tell you their stories. You under the influence of some affliction, and then you do some nutty thing, and then the whole rest of your life based on something you did for 5 minutes maybe, or half an hour, the whole rest of your life you threw away. And you also damaged other people's lives, the whole rest of their lives, for a little bit of pleasure. Okay, so we say, oh, well, I'm not a criminal. I don't rape and murder people. Okay, that's good. I'm glad you don't. You wouldn't live here if you did. Yeah, but but the self-centered thought is behind both of those. Okay, and so it is not our friend. So one good way to, we have to look at this over and over again. So especially, when we do purification practices, you're doing your prostrations, you're doing Vajrasattva, you're doing mandala offerings, or Dorji Kadra, or whatever you're doing, okay? Trying to do some intense purification. And how when you're doing that, you're really thinking about things that you did in this life and the things that, for sure you did in a previous life, but we don't remember that because previous lives are beginningless, so who knows what in the world we've done. They say, been there, done that, everything in samsara. So you're purifying, and then when you really think of those, like, in a previous life, I acted like fill in the blank is acting right now. And this is somebody that you look at who you don't have any respect for because of how harmful their behavior is. And you think, in a previous life, I acted like that too. Yeah. So that's why, when you do 35 Buddhas, you're confessing all these things. And our mind first says, well, I didn't do all those. And the uhula prayer afterwards, yeah, oh, I didn't do that. That stuff is terrible. Oh, well, yes, we did. That's why we're still here in samsara. So you start thinking about that. And like, I once had a mind that was acting like this. Yeah. I once was, to choose one venerable here's favorite person, I once was Tucker. And I tucked a lot. Tuck, 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 tuck. And I lied, and I criticized, and I cheated, and I deceived, all for my reputation and for the big buck. Yeah, I did that. Ugh. Yeah, we can't remember that previous life, but, somewhere in the continuum of the merely designated I, that I acted like that. And so you feel like, I really want to, it gives you some energy when you're doing your prostrations. It gives you some energy when you're reciting Bodhisattva, because you think, oh, that I was like, I don't want to be like that. That's disgusting. Yeah. So this is a good way to, when there's people that you look at that you just don't respect, that you think are disgusting, the person isn't disgusting, their behavior is. And I, in my previous lives, have had that same behavior. And that's why I'm doing prostrations and reciting mantra to purify. Okay. And, that gives you some energy, and you really begin to see, okay, why did I act like that in a previous life? Well, the same reason why somebody I look at in this life is acting that way. Yeah, completely ruled by my self-centered thought, not caring beans about anybody else. In fact, taking delight in lying to them and, deceiving them and thinking that I am so great because I am able to stir people up to do, things for me. Look how great I am, how powerful I am. Yeah. And that's all motivated by my self-centered thought. So that self-centered thought not only harms other people, and not one person, but millions, gazillions of people. Yeah. I mean, one person, the influence, if you have a microphone in front of you, well, not me, but, other people, the influence can go all over the world and screw everybody up. Okay. And I once did that under the influence of my self-centered thought. So I harmed others, and the karma I created from doing that is like, bleh, and I'm going to experience the result of that karma, and they're not going to have banana splits in the hot hell or the cold hell, So is my self-centered thought, my friend, is it looking out for me when it's motivating me to create the karma for every single suffering I experience? Yeah. Is that self-centered thought my good friend? Why am I listening to it? Yeah. I am stupid. I'm listening to what harms me. Mm-hmm. So what you're doing is you're starting to see the faults of the self-centered thought, the faults of the mind that says, I am more important than others. I want to do what I want to do, and don't tell me otherwise. I am always right. Yeah. And I'm not only always right, but I'm also talented and gorgeous and rich and everything else. Yeah, I'm really rich. Yeah, look. And this isn't even mine. Okay. So, when you start looking at your own experience, you really see, boy, this self-centered thought is, it's worse than Tucker. It lies more, and it damages, it's really damaging me, as well as damaging others. So, what kind of attitude do I want to create that's going to counteract this self-centered mind? Yeah, it's the mind that cherishes others. Okay, and then you contemplate the kindness of others and have a sense of gratitude and appreciation for them, not of obligation. Oh, I have to repay their kindness. I don't want to, but I have to. Shantideva said so. So I better do it, otherwise he's going to clobber me again. Yeah. No, you start looking and like, wow, all the good things I have in my life come from other people. Yeah. And then self-centeredness, it's not going to take this lying down. Self-centeredness is going to put up a good fight. It's like the Russians against the Ukrainians. The Russians aren't saying, "Oh yeah, you're right, Ukraine. This is your land." Russia, we're going to use some Iranian drones and bomb your residences and your hospitals and your orphanages and destroy this country so that we can possess it. Yeah, you're going to possess a lot of rubble that you've just destroyed. Okay, so our self-centered thought it's not going to roll over and say, "Oh yeah, I guess I've gotten some happiness out of others, but not all of my happiness. My happiness came because of me, because I worked hard." Yeah, and you've got to work hard in this world to be something. And I worked hard and I picked myself up by my own bootstraps, even though I didn't have any boots. Right. Yeah. Because I talked somebody else into giving me their boots. So that's how I picked myself up by my own bootstraps. They were actually somebody else's. But don't tell that other guy that I cheated him and took his boots. Yeah, so you start seeing, oh, yeah, everything good I have come from others. Yeah. Anybody here worried about having lunch today? No, I don't think anybody's worried. We know we're going to have lunch. You don't even think twice about, am I going to have lunch today? You know you're going to have it. Yeah. You don't know if you're going to like everything. But you know that there's going to be food to eat. Yeah. We don't doubt that, not for 1 nanosecond. Yeah. And yet, how many people on this planet do not have that complacency to know that they don't even need to think about food. It's going to magically appear in front of them. Yeah. And where did this food come from? Yeah. Did we make it? Did we earn it? Yeah. Where did it come from? Yeah. It came from farmers. it came from migrant workers, some of them underage children, migrant workers, picking fruits and vegetables out in the sun. Yeah. If you eat meat, yeah, where did my lunch come from? Oh, somebody else donated their body. Did I ask them if they want to donate their body for my lunch? No. I just assumed that they should. Yeah. Isn't that what's happening when you eat meat? That's somebody else's body. What are you going to say if somebody comes and says, I'm hungry. Will you donate your body for my lunch? Oh, no way. Okay. But we begin to see that if, that everything good we have in our life came from others. We think we're so smart. Don't you think you're smart? You don't just think you're smart. You know you're smart. You know it, especially if you have a few pieces of paper, that say that you're smart. Yeah, that's all you need, a piece of paper. Yeah, that means you're smart. I won't tell you what I did when I got my piece of paper. No, I won't tell you. Because last time I told you something about my past, you all were horrified. So now I'm not going to tell you anything. Okay? Got to protect my reputation. But look, you got this piece of paper, but that says that you know things. And if you know things, you're smart. Except if you know how to do skateboarding really well, that kind of knowledge doesn't count as being smart. Okay, unless there's an Olympic sport for skateboarding, and then if you get to the status where you can skateboard in the Olympics, then you're smart and you're worthwhile. Okay, but the rest of us who can't skateboard at all, I don't know, maybe some of you can. You can skateboard? Oh, very good. I rejoice. But you can't do it here because all the paths have gravel on them. Oh, too bad. What suffering. Yeah. I can't even stand on a skateboard. But I got a piece of paper. Yeah. Yeah. So when you think, everything I know, even how to skateboard, even chemical engineering and electrical engineering, and you can make pages and pages of spreadsheets. Yeah, we weren't born with that knowledge. Yeah, somebody taught us. Someone taught us. Yeah, when we were born, we couldn't even say, I'm hungry, please feed me. Yeah, or I'm too hot, please take the blankie off. We couldn't say anything. We couldn't even ask and say please and thank you. We just demanded, and somebody gave us what we wanted. Because if they didn't, we wouldn't be alive today. And we wouldn't know anything today. But just the fact that we know how to speak One of the things that, again, something we take so much for granted, I know how to speak. Yeah. Did you come out of the womb? Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. What's for lunch? We didn't come out of the womb talking. Huh? Everything was given to us. Everything. Yeah. We came out of the womb 100% broke. Totally broke. And totally dependent on other living beings' kindness just to stay alive. There's no way as an infant that we could stay alive by ourselves. Absolutely no way. I mean, you've all been around babies and think, can that baby stay alive by itself? Impossible. So, believe it or not, we were once upon a time babies, totally dependent on other people to do everything for us, and especially to educate us and teach us everything we know, and teach us how to be good citizens, teach us how to basic manners. Whether we learn those or not is another question, but people taught us to say please and thank you, which I think are two of the most important words that we ever learned. Yeah. Please and thank you, because it shows our interdependence with others. No. And it's true, everything that we have and know and do, and it all came from others. So cherishing the source of our happiness should be something that we automatically do, shouldn't it? Yeah. When you think that all your happiness comes from others, we always cherish what gives us happiness. So cherishing others makes perfect sense. Yeah. Cherishing our enemy that lies to us and deceives us, that doesn't make any sense at all. Okay, so how do we overcome the self-centeredness? We see it for what it is, and then the antidote, recognizing where our happiness really comes from, and that's from other sentient beings. Okay, so we all hopefully had a good night's sleep. Where did your bed come from? Where did the room that you sleep in come from? Where did the money to buy the materials for the bed and the room come from? Yeah. What about your blanket? Where did that come from? Did you ask any sheep if you could borrow their fur? Not borrow it, steal it, and sell it for your own profit. Yeah. So, to really spend some time thinking about the source of our happiness, and our good karma plays a big role in that too. How did we create the good karma? The result of which we're now experiencing. It wasn't by being self-centered and just looking out for ourselves. Yeah. It was about being kind, being generous, holding ethical conduct. Yeah. Having fortitude in confront of difficulties. Okay. So this is Dharma is so practical. Yeah. I mean, it's just learning to look at our own experience with a realistic eye instead of a blinded, distorted, contorted, view. but really look at where does my happiness come from? Not me. Yeah, maybe some good karma in the past, but I didn't grow the food I'm going to have for lunch. I didn't cook it. I'm not even cleaning up after it. Yeah, or taking the garbage out. I just spent the morning, petting the cat and mumbling some things and walking around and, getting to be important, sitting in front of a room. Yeah. And then I ate lunch, that I'm expecting. That I have the right to criticize because it's going to be rice and beans again. Oh. Yeah. So, to really sit and think, where does my happiness come from? Yeah, it's cold outside. How come I'm warm inside? Who made this heating system? Yeah, I don't even remember what the guys looked like who put in the heating system in this building. Any of you remember what they looked like? Yeah, you do? I remember what the contractor looked like, but the heating guys? No, you remember?
Videos.
Huh?
I took videos of them.
Oh, yeah, okay. So you would. Yeah. How about the people who put down the carpet? Well, we know them better from Floors or Us. Yeah. They've been out a few times. Who painted the walls? George painted the walls? Only him? Hmm?
He loves to paint. I think he did almost all
Oh,
of it. Maybe Jeremiah.
yeah. Jeremiah. I don't know. We'll see. Who built the spray gun for painting the walls? Who cleaned up the mess? Who made the paint? How in the world do you make paint? Anybody here know how to make paint? Yeah. Anybody here know how to make the equipment for spray, Because that's how they do it, It's a big thing with a hose and a nozzle. Don't get in the way, otherwise you blend. Yeah. We don't know how to do any of that. Yeah. And yet, due to the kindness of other people who spend their life and their time doing that, we're in a room that doesn't look like, bashed in drywall. Yeah. Or take the drywall away, that doesn't look like the inside of Foswall blocks. Now imagine what this room would look like if the walls were Foswall blocks. Wouldn't be nearly as nice, would it? Who made the Foswall blocks? Okay, so when we look around, it's, amazing. So it makes perfect sense to cherish others and not cherish the self. Okay. So 113. Having seen the mistakes in cherishing myself and the ocean of goodness in cherishing others, I shall completely reject all selfishness and accustom myself to accepting others. Okay, so I'm going to accept others and be tolerant and kind to them and reject my self-centered thought. Having seen the mistakes in cherishing myself. okay, a few mistakes, but a lot of good things came out of cherishing myself. And the ocean of good in cherishing others. Yeah, I pulled one over on those guys. I look good. No, that's not cherishing them. Okay. I shall completely reject all self-centeredness and accustom myself to cherishing others. Okay, well, maybe not all self-centeredness. You got to work up to this gradually. Yeah. Yeah. Just remember, Shantideva's in your office, in your room. Yeah. Kind of looking, going, interesting. Yeah, you're just like me, eating, sleeping, and going to the bathroom. Yeah, you take after me, just like me. He says, but the thing is, he also did something else besides eating, sleeping, and go to the bathroom. We kind of stick with the original three things. 114, in the same way as the hands and so forth are regarded as limbs of the body, likewise, why are embodied creatures not regarded as limbs of life? That's such a good question, isn't it? Yeah. We think of our hands, and our feet, which are totally different things, our hands and our feet, but they're both limbs of this body, so they help each other and function together. And in that way, they benefit each other. Okay. The legs can't do it all by themselves, and the hands can't do it all by themselves. Okay. I read one article about one U.S. soldier in Iraq that lost all 4 limbs in the war. Came back, no arms, no legs. In Walter Reed Hospital. Yeah. Can you imagine that? He was young, you go off to fight war when you're young. He was just, late teens, early 20s, came back, no arms, no legs. Yeah. But the arms and legs help each other. They function together. Yeah. So seeing that everything we have, everything we know, everything we do depends on others, aren't we all part of the same organism of life? Yeah. Aren't we? Why then? Yeah, do we just look out for ourselves? What would happen, if your hand, think of whichever hand is dominant in you that you use all the time, I'm right-handed. Think if this hand said, I got up in the morning, and this hand says, I don't feel like doing anything today. Okay, so I get up, and then I have to go brush my teeth with my left hand. Yeah, and I have to feed my tree with my left hand and make water bowl offerings just with one hand. That's going to be good, holding the bowl and pouring the water with the same hand. Yeah. I had to do everything just with one hand, because this hand said, I don't feel like it. Yeah, we should try that, actually. Try it and then think about, this is what happens when I say, I don't feel like it. I don't want to. Make me. Yeah, remember that? That was a good one we said a lot when we were little. You didn't say it to your parents, at least if you had my parents. You didn't dare say that if you valued your life, But on the playground, make me. We alternated between it's not fair and make me. Yeah. Or it was, I'm teacher's pet, so you got to be nice to me because otherwise I'll tell the teacher and you'll get in trouble. Okay. So, yeah, what happens when somebody, if we just say, forget it, I don't care about you. So likewise, why are embodied creatures not regarded as limbs of life? Because we need each other to stay alive. Yeah. His Holiness, years ago, he talked about the, not the birds and the bees, but the bees and the ants. Okay? And how in an ant colony or a beehive, they have to work together. Yeah, the worker ants, they go out and, you can see them. They take all the pine needles and they take little bits of fluff and everything to build up the nest, and then whatever they have to go to feed the queen, because you got to feed the queen, otherwise the nest is not going to be there. It's not going to, last. So the worker ants are all out doing things. Yeah. And they don't get up in the morning and say, I don't feel like it. I've been a working ant my whole life. I'm 65. I want to retire. Yeah. Here, queen, you go do everything, You've just sat there all the time and just laid eggs. Yeah. Do something for yourself. Do something for the rest of us. Yeah. But it's because they all work together that the anthill survives. Yeah. We had 2 big anthills on the path walking up. I think some of them are under gravel now, and I don't know, last year I didn't see much. I think they moved out. Yeah. They found some land near Lake Tahoe where it was beautiful. Except now there's, too much snow there. Yeah, but I used to stand, and just look at the ants. Amazing what they do and how they communicate with each other. Going this way and that way and giving signals, go to that needle and turn left and then go to that rock and turn right. And yeah, and how they cooperate with each other. And so His Holiness used to say, if ants and bees can cooperate like that, what about human beings? We have a human brain, human intelligence. Why can't we cooperate? Yeah. Why are we sitting there battling each other, killing each other, making each other miserable? What's the story? Yeah. So this is the story. This is the story. Why? Very easy, self-centered thought. Okay. So in the same way as the hands and so forth are regarded as limbs of the body, likewise, why are embodied creatures not regarded as limbs of life? Through acquaintance has the thought of I arisen towards this impersonal body. So in a similar way, why should it not arise towards other living beings? So Shantideva is saying that, and we're supposed to go, oh yeah, Shantideva, you're right. Why should it not arise towards other living beings? And self-centered thought says, I'll tell you why it shouldn't arise towards other living beings. Yeah, because if it does, then I'm going to have to do things I don't want to do. Yeah, I'm going to suffer. And that's the worst thing that could ever happen. Instead of thinking, when I help others, I feel joy and delight. Yeah. I mean, remember chapter 1, or have we forgotten chapter 1 of this text? Chapter 1, his whole pitch is you feel joy when you care about others. Bodhicitta makes your mind happy. Yeah. And it makes you more happy than your hot fudge sundae makes you. Yeah. But that was chapter 1. That was a long time ago. But, to think about it, we go, well, yeah, Shantideva is just saying that because he wants us all to be so magnanimous, but I just don't have it in me. I can't cherish others more than self. It's impossible. Anyway, it says, towards this impersonal body. My body is not impersonal. My body is me. It's my cherished possession. I've got to take care of it because I learned my whole life that if I don't take care of myself, nobody else will. That's a big lie, isn't it? When you think about that, did you hear that your whole life? It's somewhere in, I don't know, some religious scripture or some religious person said it. Yeah? If I don't take care of myself, or some philosopher, some important person, excuse me, whoever you are, I don't remember your name, so your glory is decreasing because I don't know your name. But anyway, I listened to what you said, and you said, if I don't work for myself, nobody else is going to take care of me. Oh, yeah. So what Shantideva is saying, why is he saying the opposite? Through acquaintance has the thought of I arisen towards this impersonal body. Think of that. Do you look at this thing and say, it's impersonal? It's impersonal. It's just a bunch of vegetable goo. It's just a bunch of molecules, arranged in a certain shape. And on the inside, vegetable goo. Yeah, it's just an organic thing inside. What is personal about that? If this body were blown up in Ukraine and parts of it were lying all across the road, what's personal about that? Yeah. And when we really think about it, there's nothing personal about this body. It's just material stuff. Yeah. And it's going to get recycled, and who knows what it's going to come back as. Yeah. The atoms and molecules that are making up your body, and by the way, our cells change. Every cell in the body changes every 7 years. Yeah.
That's a misunderstanding of the original.
Well, you're not criticizing me. I read it in a book.
It's a misunderstanding of the original published result because think about it, like our bones, and there's plenty of cells in our body that don't divide and reproduce as much. The average age of cells in our body is 7 years. So some of our cells, like our skin cells, cycle very quickly, and some cycle very, very slowly or not at all.
Yeah, but they also change moment to moment, don't they?
Sure, but the statement of, well, every cell in our body has changed in 7 years is a misunderstanding of the original science. an often repeated by many people misunderstanding of the science.
Yeah, just because other people say it doesn't mean it's true. But if I say it, it doesn't matter whether I'm right or wrong. I said it. And that's the way we act sometimes towards people. You know, I could get elected as president based on that if I say it, it's true. Yeah, your knowledge is rigged.
You have an alternative fact.
Yes, I have alternative facts. No, you have alternative facts. I'm right. You have alternative facts. Anyway, everything's changing every nanosecond. We can agree on that. And I might actually believe what you said sometime. Yes, after every cell in my body has changed more than once. Anyway, okay. So it's just through acquaintance that we think this vegetable stuff is mine. Yeah. It's interesting, in the lunch line, we look at the food, you know, and we each take some of the food, and whatever, you know, piece of broccoli we take then becomes part of us. Okay. Now, it doesn't really matter which piece of broccoli I take. I could take this piece or this piece, but whichever one I take is going to become part of me, and the one I didn't take is going to become part of you. But what would happen if I took that piece of broccoli and you took the one I was going to take? Oh, how can that be? But actually, it doesn't really matter, does it, which piece of broccoli we took, which grain of rice or couscous or, you know, whatever it is that we took? But as soon as we take it, it is mine. It's mine in the plate, and as soon as it goes in the mouth and the stomach, it's mine, and it makes our cells, which all change every 50 years. Yeah. So, you know, so you're looking at that food that is other. It's others' bodies. Yeah. And you're looking at this. This piece of broccoli is my body. That piece of broccoli is your body. Yeah. Yeah. So you guys get the rice and the beans. I'm so happy. Yeah. So to really, you know, think about this. It's impersonal. There is nothing me or mine about this thing. Okay? So if there's nothing me or mine really about this thing, it's just through acquaintance, then can't I do that for others? Yeah. And here's where the example of the mother comes in, okay? Because watch mothers, you know, not just human mothers, but, you know, cat mothers and cow mothers and everything, yeah? Watch them and how they care for their young. And the young, the baby is more important. I mean, just think, your mom got up in the middle of the night for at least 2 years every night to feed you. Unless you had a nanny or something, or your dog brought the food. But think about it, yeah? Would you, if somebody said, I get hungry 2 times every night, will you get up and bring me something to eat? forget it. I'm not doing that. But that's what our mothers did. Yeah. And if you watch Sura, the dog down the hill, oh my goodness, she's had 2 batches of puppies, litters of puppies. And I think she's pregnant again. But you watch how she nurses those puppies and the toll it takes on her body. I mean, she's just exhausted. She hasn't even recovered from the first litter when the second litter came. And now I think the third litter is coming. Yeah. But she nurses all these puppies. She didn't have one baby. Yeah. First litter had 10. Second litter had 13. Okay. We can't even handle one screaming baby. But she, these little pups would crawl all over her and she would just lie there. I give my body to you. That's all, And then when they got a little bit bigger and she would start, she would get up to go somewhere, they would still hold on to her and she'd be walking and they're still trying to nurse. And she's dragging them behind her. Yeah, the puppies didn't get up. I'm hungry. I'm going to nurse. I don't care if you're walking. Oh, that must have hurt yeah. Okay. So, to just, in her eyes, those babies those puppies were more important. Yeah. And I remember my grandma, I asked her one time about, the depression and everything, because my dad was born in 21, so he was just a kid during the Depression, and he had an older brother, my uncle, and my grandmother said, because lots of times they didn't have enough food, she said, I just told the kids I had already eaten and I gave them my food. Yeah. My goodness. Yeah. So to really think about that, yeah. Through acquaintance has the thought of I arisen towards this impersonal body, which is just a whole big pile of food that turns into poop and pee. And me. Poop, pee, and me. What was that? Bed, breakfast, and beyond. No, it's bed, bath, and beyond. So it's poop, pee, and me. Yeah? So in a similar way, why should it not arise towards other living beings? Amazing. Okay, so we're going to stop here for today. We'll get through this chapter eventually. Yeah. I had the idea that that I'd finish doing this chapter, and then Geshe-la would do chapter 9. Yeah, I'm just practicing exchanging self for others. Okay.